Billy Ray Bates had all the tools to be an excellent player in the NBA. His strong frame allowed him to post up guards, while his athletic ability helped him throw down powerful dunks in transition. He was also a solid shooter and was decent defensively, but Billy was his own worst enemy as he let his vices hold him back, whether it was oversleeping for a game, bragging about copious amounts of substance abuse and sex, or his many run-ins with the law. Billy's character issues led to him being out of the NBA after only 4 seasons, despite still having the highest playoff scoring average for a bench player in NBA history. After he was cut by the Lakers in 1983, he would go to the Philippines and become a legend in the PBA, even earning the nickname Black Superman. However, one can only imagine what Billy could have been in the NBA if he kept his head on straight. Welcome to PZ Hoops, and let's get down to it. Billy was born on May 31st, 1956 in Cusquito, Mississippi. He was the 8th of 9 children, living in a shack without indoor plumbing. Since his parents were sharecroppers, Billy grew up picking cotton, string beans, and corn to help the family. When his father died, Billy seemed to inherit 2 things from him: his size and his drinking habit, as he would later say that he drank his first swig of alcohol at age 10. After growing to 6'4" and 210 pounds, Billy committed to Kentucky State University after a great career at McAdams High. His last 2 years in college were really good, especially his senior year, as he averaged 23 points and 8 rebounds on 60% shooting. Billy was selected in the 3rd round of the 1978 NBA draft by the Houston Rockets, but he was cut before the season after his agent demanded guaranteed money. Billy ended up playing for the Maine Lumberjacks of the CBA, where he averaged 27 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals, winning the Rookie of the Year and making the All-CBA second team. After this season, the 76ers brought Bates into training camp in 1979. After he ran a mile in 5 minutes and 15 seconds, he bragged that he was hungover and had been in the company of multiple women the previous night. The Sixers cut him, and he returned to the CBA. The next season was similar production, but he was able to shoot 43% from 3, albeit on only 21 attempts. By this time in the NBA, the Blazers were clinging to the last playoff spot in the West when they signed Billy to a 10-day contract on February 23rd. Coach Jack Ramsey was hesitant to put him in, finally giving him real time against the Bucks on March 14th, as he put up 14 points in the 4th quarter. Over the next 3 games, he dropped 26, 20, and 22, being named the NBA's Player of the Week, even though he had only been there for a month. In his small sample size of the season, Billy averaged 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. Portland's 38-44 record was enough to sneak into the playoffs, facing the Sonics in the 1st round. Billy's game really shined in the playoffs, as it was clear that he wasn't afraid of the pressure. In his playoff debut, he dropped 29 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists off the bench, but the Blazers would lose as Gus Williams dropped 35. Billy started game 2, dropping 20 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals as Portland tied the series. He was the lone bright spot in game 3 with 26 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists, but Portland couldn't buy a bucket, losing the game and the series. Although Billy had established himself in the playoffs, Coach Ramsey elected to keep him coming off the bench in 1980, but he was extremely inconsistent this season, by his own admission, due to him losing himself in the wilderness at night and drinking heavily. Some teammates even said that he would down a 6-pack before the games. He would also forget plays from time to time, even missing the whole first half of a game because he overslept. His play was so erratic that Coach Ramsey had to keep shuffling him in and out of the lineup. For example, in late December, he dropped 20 in back-to-back games, then scored 11 total points in the next 2. He dropped 35 points and 6 assists against Dallas on March 16th, but he had just 8 points over the next 2 games. He dropped his career high of 40 in the season finale against San Diego, but he had dropped 4 points just 3 games before. The Blazers were a score-by-committee team this year, but their high-powered offense led them to a 47-35 record. Billy averaged 14 points, 2 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and a steal this season. The Blazers faced Kansas City in the 1st round, as Billy once again showed out. He dropped 25 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists off the bench in Game 1, but the Kings would sneak out a 1-point win. He dropped 26 points and 5 assists in Game 2, but Michael Thompson was the star as he dropped 40 points, 11 rebounds, 2 steals, and 5 blocks to give the Blazers an overtime win. Billy would have the best playoff game of his career in Game 3, dropping 34 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals, but the Kings were able to win the game and the series. 1981 was more of the same inconsistent play from Bates, as through the first 20 games, he was averaging 7 points on 37% shooting. He would drop 20 points one game, then average 8 over the next 6. This season as a whole was shaky in Portland, as they were an average team on both sides of the ball. The Blazers finished 42-40, missing the playoffs. Billy averaged 11 points, 1.5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists this season. After his erratic play, Portland waived him during the offseason. He would sign with the Bullets at the beginning of the 1982 season, but his playing time was limited and he was cut after 15 games. He wouldn't be signed again until he inked a 10-day deal with the Lakers on April 12th, but he was 25 pounds overweight at this point, and he was cut after 4 games. In his shortened season, Billy averaged 6.5 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist, as he would never play in the NBA again after this. Billy's career playoff average of 26.7 points a game is still the 9th highest in NBA history, and the most by a non-starter, ranking ahead of players such as Steph Curry, Hakeem Olajuwon, Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Dirk Nowitzki, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Wilt Chamberlain. After his NBA career was over, he headed back to the CBA, this time with the Ohio Mixers, where he averaged 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1.5 steals. But his next move would see himself become a legend. Billy would sign to play in the Philippine Basketball Association, suiting up for the Crispa Redmanizers. He would drop 64 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists in his first game as his high-flying play captivated the fans. His basketball talent combined with his outgoing personality endeared him to the Filipino media as well. A local shoe company even gave him an endorsement with an upcoming shoe that had the phrase "Black Superman" stitched onto it. "Those people, they loved me," he would later say. "There, I was like Michael Jordan. I could have anything I wanted. All I had to do was snap my fingers. I had my own condo, my own car, and my own bodyguard with an Uzi. I had to fight off the women." Billy averaged 42 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists in his first PBA season, shooting 64% from the field and 41% from 3. He would win 2 PBA championships this year, as well as 2 awards for Import of the Year. Billy would leave to play in Switzerland for a couple years before returning back to the CBA, this time for the Charleston Gunners. He only averaged about 9 points there before heading back to the Philippines, this time suiting up for Ginebra San Miguel. He helped the team win their first PBA title in 1986, on averages of 50 points, 13.5 rebounds, and 5.5 assists on 61% shooting. The next season was a historic one, as he led all imports with 55 points a game, along with 15 rebounds and 5 assists. In 1988, he suited up for another PBA team, Añejo Rum 65, but he was severely out of shape, and he was cut despite averaging 31, 10, and 5. According to most of his PBA teammates, Billy continued to party hard, as he would drink a couple of beers before tip-off and even put up Wilt Chamberlain-like numbers in the bedroom. Billy's last game as an active player was a playoff game in the CBA for the Pensacola Tornadoes, dropping 7 points and 1 rebound. Bobby's post-basketball life was pretty uneventful, until he was arrested in 1998 for robbing a gas station at knife point, even attacking the clerk. He was charged with assault and sentenced to 5 to 10 years in prison. After his early release, he went back after testing positive for cocaine, as he would write his autobiography titled Born to Play Basketball, where he candidly talks about his past. Billy worked several odd jobs after his release from prison, but he was recognized by the PBA for his contributions, even being inducted into their Hall of Fame. He expressed a desire to coach in the Philippines since they embraced him so well, so he got a job as a skills coach for the Philippine Patriots of the ABL, but he was fired a few months later for quote-unquote repeated misconduct in acts detrimental to the team and to the league. Billy Ray Bates was on a path to be a solid contributor in the NBA, especially since he was extremely athletic and could score in bunches, and his playoff numbers clearly showed that he wouldn't fold under pressure. But his inconsistency coupled with his off-the-court issues led to his NBA career only lasting 4 years. But he was able to rebuild his image in the Philippines and become a legend there, cementing himself as one of the best imports the PBA had ever seen. But to most, his career would be a disappointment, considering what he was able to do in Portland. Billy has faded into the shadows over the last decade, but one can only imagine what he could have been for the Blazers if he kept out of trouble. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys for supporting this channel. I saw this guy, Billy Ray Bates, like I was looking through some of the old stats for some of the players from the 70s, and I seen this Billy Ray Bates dude, like he's like throwing up 30 in the playoffs. I'm like, who is this dude? Then I look back and I see his story and I'm like, wow, he really had a story, like a wild story. And it's not too many people talks about him because he really only showed up in the playoffs. But, you know, that was the times, you know, people were still doing hard drugs and still partying. That was just the times. Like society in the 70s and 80s, that was just society as a whole, for being honest. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys for all the support. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Drop a comment if you want me to do a video on next. Leave a like and hit that subscribe button. Thank you for the support. Please be safe, stay on the grind. I'm out. Peace.